Okay, good afternoon. After the brief introduction, I believe that you must have a better understanding of our company. So how can our company stand out among all the manufacturers and stay in the first place in this industry for so many years? I think one of the most important reasons is that we got a really strict quality control system and a very strong ability of research and new product development. So, how can we do this? Here is the answer, Yonggao Research Institute. And totally, in my introduction, I would like to mention 4 parts. Part 1 is about the general idea of our research institute. And part 2 is I will show you some certificates we got for and by our research institute. And part 3, I would like to show you how it normally works on each floor of our research institute. And the last part, I would like to show you some test equipment for HDPE products. Okay, let's move on to part 1. This building, Yonggao Research Institute, was founded and put into use in 2014, and it has CNES accredited lab and IMO accredited lab, and it was honored as the state-level enterprise research center. And totally it covers over 6,000 square meters, and it was equipped with over 300 sets of test equipment and over 250 researchers. And the total investment of this research institute is about 20 million US dollars. Wow, this is a very big money. You can see how important it is to our company. And regarding the layout of this building, on the first to second floor, it's mainly for our test center for products and raw materials. And on the third to fourth floor, it's our technical center. And on the fifth to sixth floor, it's our precision equipment R&D center. Okay, now I would like to show you some certificates for our research institute. You see, our research institute is honored as the National Enterprise Technology Center, Zhejiang Provincial Key Enterprise Research Institute, and National Postdoctoral Workstation, China Plastics Pipeline Engineering Technology R&D Center. And most important, as I mentioned before, we have CNES accredited lab and IMO accredited lab. CNES accredited lab, it means that we are able to issue the ISO standard test report. And IMO accredited lab, it means that we are able to issue the ASTM standard test report in our own lab. And which, as far as I know, we are the only one in China who can do such kind of test report. And thanks to our research institute, we also got various kinds of international certificates for our products. You see the first one, this is DVGW certificate. We got DVGW certificate for PPR pipes and fittings. And now in China, only 2 companies have such kind of certificates. And also this one, this is also DVGW certificate. This is for the PM16 DIN standard fittings. This certificate is very important for some Middle East countries such as Syria, Jordan, and Kuwait, etc. And also this is the NSF certificate. We got this for CPVC Schedule 80, PVC Schedule 40, and PVC DW fittings, and CPVC Union, and CPVC fittings ASTM standard fittings, etc. And also this is the UPC certificate for PVC Schedule 40 fittings, and PVC Schedule 80 fittings, and PVC DW fittings. And also this one, this is kite mark. We got this kite mark for PVC pressure fittings, EN ISO 1452, and also for PVC DW fittings, BS 1329. This is a British certificate, which is very important for some Middle East countries such as Oman, UAE, and also Qatar, and it can help us to get better access to get very big projects. And also, this is the watermark certificate for PP compression fittings and for some PVC Australian standard fittings. And also this one, this is RAS. We got it for PP compression fittings and HDPE pipes and fittings. And this is our gold certificate for Russia market. So after the introduction of the certificates, let's move on to part 3. I would like to introduce you the layout of our building. Okay, first let's go to the first floor. On the first floor of our research institute, it's mainly for the physical property test. You see, we have three labs. One is thermal physics lab, and hydraulic lab, and impact test lab. First, when we go inside the first floor of our building, you will see our hydraulic lab at your first sight. And totally we have 2 hydrostatic pressure testing machines. One is IPT from Germany, cost about $300,000, and the other one is Cytec, imported from Denmark, cost about $250,000. And both IPT and Cytec, they're capable of doing the test in a pressure range from 0.5 to 115 bars, and from a temperature range from 20 to 95 degrees Celsius. And it can cover almost all kinds of hydrostatic tests. And please see this picture. We use the 2 machines to connect with the computers and monitor 5 tanks. And it can sustain 50 tests in the meantime, which means that it can give us more support because we have a very strong production capacity and we need to take 2 to 3 samples to test from every batch of our production line. So by this, it can help us to improve our test efficiency. Okay, when we go out of the hydraulic lab, we will go to the impact testing lab. So the first one, this is simple beam impact testing machines. As we all know that the PPR raw materials would become very weak under a very low temperature. So we use this machine to see the PPR pipe performance under a very low temperature when facing the impact. And the second one, this is also an impact testing machine. We use this to test the pipe resistance to external blows. Okay, then we go to the thermal physics lab. The first one, this is constant temperature and humidity test chamber. We use this to get our samples prepared under a certain temperature and humidity before testing. And the second one, this is electric constant temperature plus drying oven. This is we use this machine to do oven test. For the pipes, we use this to test longitudinal reversion of the pipes, and also for the fittings, we use this to see the joint performance of the fittings after high temperature, and to see whether it is breaking or peeling or something, some other problems on the appearance. Okay, now let's go to second floor. Second floor are mainly for our physical property test lab and also chemical property test lab. First, it's about our physical property test lab. You see, we have thermal resistance lab, mechanical properties lab, and fire resistance test lab, high temperature analysis lab, and also aging resistance lab. Okay, first let's go to the mechanical properties lab. Please look at these 2 pictures. The first and second machines, they are electronic universal testing machines and also microcomputer control electronic universal testing machines. We use these 2 machines. Two machines to test the hoop softness and stiffness of the pipes. Actually, the value of the softness and stiffness cannot be too high or too low. It should meet the balance so that we can get the best performance of the pipes. And third one, this is master cotton strength test machines. This is our test machines for our package material. As you know that the package for the export products should always be better than the package of the domestic products because it needs longer time and longer distance to transport. And then we go to the thermal resistance lab. You see this one? This is thermal deformation and V-cut softening point temperature tester. And we use this machine to test the V-cut softening point of the products. And which simply means that we can use this machine to see how much pressure can products bear after high temperature. And the second one, this is the light transmittance rate enhancer tester. We use it to do the translucent test on pipes, especially for PPR pipes. You know, if it is too translucent, it will be easier for the bacteria to nurture. So it will be not good for our health. And then we go to the material fire resistance test lab. You see this machine, this is building material smoke density tester. We use this machine to test the smoke density level of the conduit pipes, which can offer us more safety when there is an accident. And now let's go to the weather agent resistance lab. You see the first one, this is QUV, UV accelerated aging test chamber. We use this machine to do the accelerated aging test. You see, the warranty of our pipes and fittings are 50 years. So the machines can design to 50 years and stimulate the natural environment, such as raining and ultraviolet ray or something for the pipes. So you can see how the pipes and fittings perform when facing such kind of environment after a long time. And also the second and third machine, they are melt flow rate test machines. One is Goldtech and the other one is Sense. We use these two machines to test the melt flow rate of the raw material. Usually we call it MFR. And when we bought a new batch of raw material, we will use the machines to test the flowability of the raw material under a certain temperature and pressure. So we can check whether this raw material is good or not. And also it can help us to see, to control the quantity of the recycling material which added into the forum. So it can help us not to affect the quality of the products. Okay, and there is also raw material chemical property lab on the second floor. And we have raw material characterization and analysis lab, and chemical instruments lab, and raw material chemical analysis lab. First is our raw material characterization analysis lab. Please look at this picture. This is the automatic Fisher moisture meter from Switzerland. We use this one to test water components contains inside the raw material. You see, if especially for HDPE raw material, you see if it contains too much water, so it will later affect the welding strength and also the quality of the products. And the second and third machines, we use these two machines to inspect the dispersion of color master. You see, first we use the fully automatic rotary sample slicer to slice the samples into pieces, and then we use the reflection and transmission bright and dark field metrographic microscope to inspect the color master. And the last one, this is electronic scales from USA. Okay, so now please also look at this picture. This is our density tester. We use this machine to test the density of our raw material. And the second one, this is our differential scanning calorimeter from Gavins, USA. We use this one to do the oxidation, induction time and melting point of the raw material. You see, for the oxidation induction time, we use this to check the warranty of the raw material. And also for the melting point, we test it to see whether there is any other elements that added into the raw material. And the third one, this is similar like the one I introduced before, the car fisher. That one is for PE materials, and this is for PVC materials. This is halogen water determination meter. We use this to test the water components contains in the PVC raw material. Okay, then we go to the chemical instruments lab. You see the first one, this is same, also the differential scanning calorimeter. We use this to test the oxidation induction time of the raw material. And the second one, this is the automatic color difference meter. We use this to compare color difference between different samples that our eyes cannot tell. And the third one, this is the kinematic viscosity meter. We use this one to test the kinematic viscosity of the raw material, so to see the stability of the raw material. And then this machine is T-Touch Automatic Potentiometric Titrator. We use this one to see the contents of coloring in the polymer. And the second one, this is our infrared carbon sulfur analyzer. We use this to see the contents of carbon and sulfur and some other elements in the mold. And the third one, this is the carbon black content tester. We use this one to see the contents of carbon black in PE raw material and PE products. Okay, now let's go to the fifth floor, mainly for our precision equipment. And first one, this is thermal gravimetric analyzer from Nats, Germany. It costs about $10,000 US. And we use this one to do some thermal stability analysis. You see, when we increase the temperature to 600 degrees Celsius, and the product will burn into ash. So we will inspect ash to see the percentage of each element. And the second one, this is the fluorescent spectrophotometer from USA. We use this one to do to test the contents of elements after Na, and also we can use this one to test the contents of metal in the mold. And this machine, this is Fourier transform infrared spectrometer. We use this machine to do the qualitative and quantitative analysis of the material components in valves and fittings and pipes. And here comes the most important one. This is the superstar of our research institute. It's called Scanning Electronic Microscope, TESCAN, imported from Czech Republic. It can magnify by 300,000 times, and it costs about $500,000 US. Wow, this is very expensive, and it can help us to test the size of nanometer, and also can help us to analyze some micro elements. Okay, then let's see this machine. This is our rotary evaporator. We use this machine to do the separation of some mixed solvent. And the second and third machine, the second one is our Brabander top ryometer from Germany, cost about $150,000 US. And the third one is a Hypro top ryometer. We use these two machines to test a new forum before putting to actual production. Okay, so as we all know that HDP products has become more and more important. So our company also have one factory that especially for our HDP products. And now, in part 4, I would like to introduce some test equipment for HDP products. First one, this is池烨X-ray digital scan machine from Germany. We can use this machine to inspect the bubbles and defects inside the products without damaged products. It's just like when we go to the hospital to do the X-ray, it will be very convenient for us. And the second one, this is Kostaka cylinder shape detector from Japan. We use this machine to test the ovality and squareness of the products. And also this one, this is HDP valve welding machine from Korea. We use this machine, it can help us to automatically assemble all HDP valve parts into a whole valve. So it will help us to meet a very high welding standard. And the second one, this is our HDP valve seal test machine. It can be used to test valve under different pressure and to see the seal performance of the valves. You see this one, this is transparent, so we can see the test by our own eyes when it is testing. So it will be more obvious for us to see the test results. And the last one, this is our enter-type thermal testing machines. And this machine could be used to simulate extremely hot and extremely cold temperature condition to see the performance of the products. So that's my introduction for our research institute. Thank you for listening.